Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of TEPSA Presents. My name is Todd Nesloni, and I'm your host tonight. I'm the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership here at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. We are so excited twice a month to bring you a variety of topics and conversations, and tonight is one that I have really been looking forward to. It is one that is close to my heart as well, and that is phonemic awareness. And so we'll be talking about all kinds of stuff dealing with phonemic awareness, and we'll also be covering some stuff dealing with reading academies here as well. So check in, pay attention, let us know in the comments where you're listening from. We always love to hear that as well. But enough about me and me talking. Let me introduce you to some of my guests today. So first up, we have Stacey with us. Stacey, can I tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Stacey Leitzel. I am Director of Professional Learning Services for Zaner Blosser. I reside in Virginia. Also want to share that my history is as a classroom teacher in the elementary school, also served as a principal and director of elementary instruction here in Virginia.
So a nice wide variety of
variety.
Well, Carol, I am excited to have you here as well. Tell everybody kind of who you are.
I'm Carol Bradford. I'm Super Kids reading consultant for the state of Texas and other states around the United States. I am a retired teacher after 33 years in the classroom, did mostly third grade, but I finished my career with ESL, which was a very wonderful place to be and just to see how kids really learned how to read, that knew a different language. So.
Well, and we are so glad that Super Kids is sponsoring this conversation today and is here with us. For those who may not even know what Super Kids is, let's start with that. What is Super Kids?
Well, Super Kids is a K-2 reading curriculum based on the science of reading and Orton Gillingham pedagogy phonics instruction. We have a suite of products. We have a Phonemic Awareness set that's brand new this year. That is strictly an oral program. It's a one-time purchase. It has everything that you need. Then we have a foundational skills, which is the phonics instruction and with instruction to text match within our stories about our super kids. Then we also have our core reading program that is grades K-2, and it covers all ELA instruction. And it is based on the science of reading as well and Orton Gillingham phonics. Then we also, for people that just want decodable readers, we have fabulous, engaging decodable readers. And I think the thing that sets our program apart from everyone else is the engaging characters that we have. They're from all walks of life. And I think the favorite character is Golly, of course, the dog that goes through all kinds of things, but ends it. Oh, she's got to look at it. So, but it's so engaging. Children don't even know that they are learning the hardest skill that they're ever going to learn in their life, and that is how to read. So we're super excited about sponsoring this tonight, and we look forward to everything Stacey has to say. She is the guru of Super Kids and reading instruction.
I love it. I'm so excited that Super Kids is part of this. And I wish that I would have known more about it when I was a principal, because I absolutely love all the stuff you have to offer. But as you know, Stacey, tonight is also talking a lot about phonemic awareness. And so let's dive right in, because I know you have a lot of background with different literacy and instruction and leadership and everything. But let's just start with telling me, why is phonemic awareness important at all when it comes to developing a young reader's brain?
Sure. So when we think about phonemic awareness, it's really about having phonemic proficiency. That's really what's critical for literacy development. And this is where students really hone their sensitivity to the sound structure of the language, which really prepares them to make the connections between that spoken and written language. And so, what we know is that we have phonological awareness, and that's actually the large umbrella that also includes phonemic awareness. We start that early when we think about our pre-kindergartners, right? When we're helping them become aware of words and syllables and words and rhyming. It's really about those various sound components of spoken words. And then we move into that phonemic awareness. That's really the most advanced type of phonological awareness. And really, it's about being able to identify and manipulate those individual sounds in spoken words. Now, the interesting piece is both of these, phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, these are auditory in nature, and we need these before we make that connection to print, which is actually then the phonics piece. And so, really what we have learned through years of research, and I remember back in the day, right, when I was in the classroom, phonemic awareness was coming out, and we really concentrated on it in kindergarten. However, as research has proven over the last several years, we want to continue that instruction in first and second grade, because having that phonemic proficiency is really going to help us understand what kind of readers they will be. They'll be more confident. And really, this knowledge of the alphabet and phonological awareness, they're the strong predictors of success.
Well, you said some things in there that really resonated with me, and that was the fact that, as a classroom teacher, I taught math and science. Mm-hmm. And so when I became an elementary principal, I'm now over kids who are learning all the subjects. And so I had to really educate myself, and I was under the assumed mindset of, phonemic awareness, that's done in kinder. Like once they know how to read, they're good to go, everything's done. But then when we started learning all the research behind it, realizing the importance of it that exists in first grade, in second grade, and even in some of the older grade levels who are really struggling with reading, knowing that's where we have to go back and start. And that was just it never crossed my mind. I thought they get in kindergarten, it's done. And so what I'd love to hear from you, though, is there might be administrators today who are listening and going, okay, I know the importance of phonemic awareness. I know that kids have to master that to be successful readers, but I'm not really sure what to look for in a lesson or what lessons even look like when it comes to that. So kind of help me out here. What am I looking for in lessons? What does a good phonemic awareness lesson even look like?
Sure. So, and let's think about this in stages, right? So when we think about kindergarten and we're thinking about really having them be word aware, that's where rhyming comes in, right? We want them to be syllable aware. So if we have tiger, we're clapping out tiger, we're tapping it out. And then we progress on. We want students to be able to really hone in on those individual phonemes. And so we want them, if we have the word map, we want them to be able to hear each of those individual sounds and recognize that there are three, m, a, p. And we continue on with that. Now, when we get into that more advanced phonemic awareness, it's really about those phonemes, and then we're going to start substituting phonemes. So for example, we might have the word sled. So we hear sled, but what we're going to ask the students to do is change the s to b, and now we have ed, bled. So that's really becoming more advanced with their phonemic awareness. And then we want to even think about what we're hearing in the middle. So for instance, we have bat, b, at. Let's change the a to oo. What do we get? B, oot, boot. So it's really, again, thinking about those phonemes, being able to have that phonemic proficiency so that I can really, experiment with those phonemes that I'm hearing. I can have that manipulation of phonemes. This really allows for more automaticity. And really these higher level phonemic tasks, as you were saying, we need to see those continue end of first grade, second grade, and for kids that are struggling even beyond in those intermediate grades.
Well, and I agree with you that for some kids, this is really a difficult thing. And so I'd love just to hear some advice from you. I know there might be parents who are listening to this today. And of course, there are many of us educators who are parents to our children. How can we kind of also encourage it at home? How can we help with the phonemic awareness at home?
So just doing simple things, right? I mean, if you have the younger students in kindergarten, you're driving along and you see, we're saying we're driving on the road. What's a word that rhymes with road? They can think of toad, and just simple things like that. Clapping out those syllables, again, as we're just even doing a read aloud with the students, and we can pull one of those books, or I'm a parent at home, I can pull one of those words from a book and we can tap out those syllables that we hear. And then, like I said, as you have older students and they're moving into first and second grade, really thinking about and having them say, okay, what sounds do we hear in that word? And tapping out those individual sounds. Now, remember, too, here's the tip, we're focusing on sounds. So if we have the word, for instance, ship, we hear sh, I, p. So it's about the sounds that we're tuning into. Notice I didn't tap out the number of letters. I'm not identifying that, but it's really about the sound. And so you can do that in everyday language. When we think about poems and nursery rhymes, that's all wonderful to get your students, your children off to a great start. We can't underestimate how much that is going to help students become better readers as we move into then that phonics piece and on.
And what I'm hearing you say that I think is so powerful here is that even though we're talking about reading and the foundations of reading, what we keep saying is talk it, say it, repeat it, sound it out. And as a parent, that's something you can do walking to the grocery store, pausing the TV. Oh, do you know a word that rhymes with what they just said there? There's writing everywhere. And so I think that's such an important thing to point out, is that it is so much about the talking as it is about the reading. So it's not just, oh, well, you need to sit down quietly and read this book. Well, no, we need to talk through some of it. And so, Carol, I'd love to jump over to you because I know in the comments here, we have a link where people can get a sample of the Super Kids Phonemic Awareness and Foundational Kit. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the Phonemic Awareness is brand new for Super Kids this time. For this year, it'll be ready in June. We took the core program and we realized that the phonics instruction was really sound, that we really did a great job with that. And we had phonemic awareness in there, but as time has gone on and research has proven that we really need more phonemic awareness, we decided to create that set so that we could have phonemic awareness and the foundation together, to where we would move from the phonemic instruction, the sounds, and then we connect it to the phonics instruction, which is in our foundational skills. But there, again, we're going to take another step further that a lot of reading curriculums don't do. We're going to take that lesson to text match, and we're going to be able to practice what the kids have learned with the phonemes, their phonics instruction, and then they're going to go in cumulative decodable readers, highly engaging cumulative decodable readers, because a lot of times decodable readers are just kind of bland. There's not really a story to them, but with all of our decodable readers, we have a beginning, a middle, and an end. We have problems and we have solutions. So you can start your story plot even at a very young age, maybe not necessarily them writing it, but they could start with pictures, really start thinking about characters, problems, and solutions early on in kindergarten, and then just grow throughout the curriculum. So we really feel great about what we've been able to accomplish with the new piece. Adding it, we really feel like it's going to be a strong addition to reading curriculum that has already been purchased, because we know State of Texas did their adoption 2 years ago, and then the state came out and said, you know what, we want to develop the reading academies. We know that the reading instruction that the teachers are getting from the college is not as strong as what it needs to be, and our kids are not performing where they should be. And so by that happening after the adoption, some of the curriculums that were purchased they're good curriculums, but they may be missing that really strong piece. So this is how Super Kids could play into really helping that reading curriculum that was purchased be even better than what it is.
And you said so many things there that I think are huge. Number one is engaging decodable readers, because that is really a problem. And I think that's great that Super Kids has that. But you also mentioned something great that I want to jump to you about, Stacey, and that is we've got the house bills that are out. We've got the reading academies, and phonemic awareness is huge part of that. And so talk to me a little bit about how all of this applies to the legal side and to the reading academies that are there too now.
Right. So part of what's being required when you think about those reading academies, it's all around this evidence we have with the science of reading. You know, this body of research that's been collected over 40 years. And we really need to take what we've learned from that, and that's part of what's happening with the reading academies, and to make sure that our instruction is intentional. We know that the human brain, we've learned this from brain research, is not hardwired for reading. So children must be taught how to read. They can't just intuit it. And so in saying that, we also know that there are particular areas of the brain where we need, with our instruction, to build those neural pathways. So, you know, just like we were talking earlier with the phonological phonemic awareness, this is where in the part of that brain they're processing sounds. And then you're able to recognize visually the particular letters, that orthographic processor. And so those two areas are already in place at birth. But we need to connect those and have that phonological assembly. And that's the region that's really not intact at birth. And so that's really when we're connecting that speech sound. So why it's so important to start early with the phonological and phonemic awareness and keep building that with those visual images. So that phonological assembly. And that has to be built through successful instructional experiences. So really making sure that as we think about our instruction, we're providing explicit systematic instruction in our phonemic awareness that leads then to also explicit systematic instruction in phonics. And this is what, and we hear again from research, if we put that in place, we will have those confident readers, and also those readers who may have been struggling, this will help them as well.
You know, I'd love to hear your perspective, Stacey, over, you know, I kind of feel like it's somewhere along the lines, we kind of dropped the ball with phonemic awareness, and that's why it's become in the House bills, it's become in the reading academies and all that. How did that happen?
Yeah, great question. And I think Carol alluded to something. I think as we progress through education, there are always differing thoughts or philosophy about education. I remember going through school. I remember the teachers in my own school. And, you know, coming through where there was this thought process of we could just immerse students into literature and they would learn to read. But if we really think about that brain piece and what we've learned about that, that's really not true. I think the other piece, and you kind of picked up on it as well, we need to have this explicit systematic instruction in place. And we want to make sure then students are applying what they're learning in the text they're reading. And so decodable text is important. But sometimes, and I know I did this as a teacher, we shy away because we think, oh, it's boring in nature, right? So yeah, we need to have decodable text that's fun for kids, but that's the key piece that really helps pull all of these pieces together so students are more confident.
I love it. Well, I hope the educators and leaders who are listening to this conversation have gathered some great resources and ideas and just the science behind why this is important. And so as we close out today, I'd love to ask each of you, you know, our members who are listening, and you want them to walk away with one thing. Like, what's the biggest thing you want them to understand or walk away with from today's conversation? Stacey, we'll start with you.
Thinking about my years as a teacher, thinking about my work and working with other teachers, and now going across the country working with teachers. It is very important that there is a clear instructional path in place. And elementary school teachers, they are busy people, right? Teaching all of the subject areas. And we need to help them by taking out some of the guesswork for them and really make sure they understand what are those critical components that students have to be confident readers. Because when you get in those upper elementary grades, you're going to try to provide the intervention students need, but you do not have the time to go back and teach some of these critical foundational skills.
I love it. Carol?
I guess in my experience as a classroom teacher, I felt like we were teaching in silos or in isolation, and that it really wasn't transferring for the kids. And so with the phonemic awareness set and then the foundational skills, we're really bridging that gap And we're really taking into consideration that kids need to practice what they've been taught. You know, we can teach them phonemic awareness all day long. We can teach them phonics all day long. But if we're not having that text instruction match, then we're missing that component, because the kids don't become confident that you've taught them everything they need to know that's going to be in the book that you're asking them to read. And by taking that guesswork out and making it very systematic and explicit and matching that instruction, you start developing that self-confidence within any age child that they're going to be able to do what you've given them, whether it be on a low level and, you know, an on level or above, but they have the skills they need to be able to sound those words out or decode those words or encode words that are on the page.
I love it. Well, both of you have shared so many fantastic things and resources today. And from everybody here at TEPSA, we want to say thank you for sharing your brilliance with us. And we want to thank everybody for listening or watching another one of our TEPSA Presents episodes. Remember, you can check us out twice a month, every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, right here on our Facebook or YouTube, or you can check out the recording here on our website or on our podcast, TEPSA Talk, available on Spotify and iTunes. Thank both of you so much, and thank you everybody for joining in.